What's happening, champions? It's Leonardo DiCaprio. I could be out banging models, but I'm here listening to The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve. I promise you're not missing out on banging hot models. It's so much more satisfying just listening to Nick and Steve, I promise.
Sounds like it also might be a lot safer, right? I mean,
I don't know if I believe anything he just said, but okay.
Leonardo DiCaprio's name popping up on the Diddy list of...
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oof. The Diddy list and the Epstein list. We're going to, there's going to be some celebrities in bad shape.
Yeah, I saw the initial list, and I mean, it is crazy. People that you would never think are on that list are on that list. Like Oprah is on the list.
Well, I was going to say, he has his big white parties. I mean, he has other parties that I'm sure celebrities are at that were not 48-hour orgies, but who knows?
You heard what that judge said, though. Like, I am going after people that took part in this, people that were complacent about this. Like, the list was long, dude. So,
we shall see.
Welcome to The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve. We appreciate you being here. 2 podcasts each and every week. That's what we do.
Yeah. And, maybe when election season's over, we can cover a little more P. Diddy and celebrity news and whatnot. But
yeah,
it's exhausting at the moment. But yeah, find the website, thevocalminority.net, and the social medias. All sorts of fun going on there. Our official biggest ones are YouTube, TikTok, and Reddit. Reddit coming out of nowhere. Lots of fun going on there. And, we're on the other ones, Twitter, X, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and, I don't know, MySpace, I guess. We're on all of them.
So. We still have a comment line, 844-48-VOCAL, that you can call. Leave a comment on the best show in podcasting right now.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Oh, that's kind of him. So.
I want to say fake news, but maybe that's the one thing he got right.
Right. We just confused because we talk a lot of shit about you, bro. So
yeah, well, he clearly is obsessed with people that don't like him, so that actually may make a lot of logic if he's listening. So
yeah, it's been another busy week. We do a little thing we like to call Need to Know News you need to know, and it's so busy I say we jump right in. You down?
I'm down. I'm up.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you this.
We interrupt our program to bring you a special.
Here is a news bulletin.
We interrupt this program to bring you
the humanity, all the
a date which will live in infamy.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Need to know news. News you need to know.
Steve Harness.
Oh, yes. The only thing you have to fear is fear itself. And like murderers and dragons and things behind the fear. You know what I mean?
Don't fear those things nearly as much as you fear our upcoming election. I mean, 3 weeks, 30 days, something like that from recording day. So
yeah, no, we're in the home stretch and things are going to get scary. I just keep convincing myself that I truly think we're going to win this thing and life is going to be okay. But if somehow Trump wins or if the Supreme Court just hands him a victory, we got 4 years of solid material, potentially 8 or 12 years of solid material of the Trump legacy coming up. So we'll see.
You may be a lifetime, from what he's saying. So.
Exactly. So, the one thing that Trump and the GOP are doing very brilliantly nowadays is they are overloading us with bullshit and just misinformation. So much so, it's just it's an avalanche. It's really hard to keep track and to get people to focus on any one thing for more than 3 seconds.
So true. So true. That is so true.
People are saying. Well, here's the latest that I've been seeing going all over the interwebs, including people we know and trust. So there was some sort of hurricane thing in Florida a week ago, and there's another one coming in a couple of days. So I'm actually legitimately wondering what impact that may have on the election. Like, if people are homeless and whatnot, are they going to absentee vote? Like, what will that do? But
yeah, that's crazy to think about, right? That state... Well, the first hurricane, it just pummeled people. What a tragedy, dude. Are the numbers higher than they were for Katrina?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know off the top of my head, but it's over 200 people dead, and it's affected multiple states, and they're still cleaning up and still looking for missing people. And yeah, now Florida's got another hurricane coming this week, so stay tuned for more. But let's talk about fact-checking the last hurricane and the federal government's response, because I'm getting nauseous at all of the misinformation out there. Yeah. And all the Trumpers trying to score political points off of a national, tragedy, a natural disaster. And we always say Trump likes to project, anything he accuses you of, he's probably done himself. And we all know that Trump, during the Puerto Rico, fiasco years ago, he did withhold federal aid for Puerto Rico. So now he's accusing Biden, Kamala Harris, of doing the same thing. And the big talking point I'm seeing on the interwebs is that, Kamala, a.k.a. FEMA, offered up $750 to everyone, and that's it. You're all screwed. Go home. That's all you're getting. Have you seen this?
Yes, I've seen this, dude. I'm so pissed off about it. I mean, because what you just read is true, but there's more to the story, dude.
Right, of course. So, fact check. Did Kamala Harris offer Hurricane Helene victims $750? A whole bunch of people, not the least of which is Donald Trump Jr., was one of several high-profile Republicans who criticized Harris following her visit to see Hurricane Helene's damage in Georgia a few days back, claiming that she only offered those affected $750. Now, first of all, it's funny to say that she offered. I mean, she's not FEMA. I understand that she's also not the president at the moment, by the way. So
you know where that's coming from, though, don't you?
What?
Well, when we had the pandemic, Trump wanted to make sure you thought the checks were coming from him. He signed them. They were from him. So that's the way they look at this, dude. That Kamala Harris gave $750, bitch. And they gave, this is the narrative, $8 billion to Ukraine and $750 to these hurricane victims. What a bitch.
Right, for sure. So the claim that $750 per person was all that was being offered by the federal government was made by others on social media platforms, with one user saying, "I can't believe what I'm hearing." The indignation on the right. Those angry said the many families have lost everything in recent days and that the White House should be offering them more. So what this means is FEMA just, sort of day one sort of thing. If you qualify, they'll just give you $750 so you can go buy food and shelter, clothing, maybe go get a hotel for a couple of days. That is not the end of the aid.
You were in the hurricane. Thank God you're still alive, but you found yourself 2 acres away from your house with nothing. I mean, literally nothing. Your medication, your food, your clothes. This is emergency $750. Like, hey, let's glue our head on for a minute. Go get the things you need, and we'll figure this shit out together.
Exactly. There is paperwork to do. There's a process to unfold. So, I was in a natural disaster several years ago. Well, not that many years ago. The Caldor fire in California. My entire town was evacuated. I had to leave my home, which is a bizarre experience, by the way, to have the government come and tell you, you got to get the hell out of here. But yeah, I did. And part of the process was I did apply for aid, both from the county, the state, and from my insurance company. And they all did the same thing. They all give you just some immediate little hit of cash just to go buy some food or whatever, because we made you leave your house. Or like in a hurricane, your house may not be there anymore. But then, you apply for additional aid. And it may not happen in a day or two, but it's, the initial hit of cash is a good thing. It's a blessing, quite frankly.
Sure. Of course it is, dude. You could go get something to eat. You can get some water. I mean, it gives you a chance to kind of gain a little perspective on what just happened and be able to move forward. These people are also not being left in the lurch while they file this paperwork. There's all kinds of aid and shelter assistance set up down there, and yet they are taking care of these people. And what an asshole thing for Trump to come out and be like, response has been slow. Nothing's happening down there. They're not taking care of these people. And then the governor himself steps up and says, that's not true, dude.
Yes. Kemp in Georgia came out. It was funny. Trump said, Kamala, not returning phone calls to Georgia. Just getting a busy signal when they call. And then everyone plays the clip of the governor of Georgia the day ahead of that saying, just talk to Kamala Harris today and President Biden. It's on the way. No one in any sort of position of authority in these red states, by the way, Florida, Georgia, and into South Carolina, I think it is. These are red states, and none of the elected officials are saying that the federal government has been slow in the responses. They're refuting it. But as with almost all Trump propaganda, facts don't really matter. It's feelings. And this feels true. It feels like Kamala would screw over poor homeless people or even rich homeless people.
And, dude, you got to admit or be in the know that he uses it. He has no moral code. He uses these victims, this shit that's happening, this terrible, awful stuff for political gain. He's done it over and over again. and it's filthy, dude. This is where I really step away, and I'm like, oh, I don't know how you could think this guy is all right to run our country. Yeah. Like, just morally, he's a pile of shit.
Well, you said an important word there. How can they think that? Well, I don't think they're thinking. That's a dire problem. They read something on the interweb and just run wild with it. So some of the other myths I'm seeing right now are that, illegal immigrants could be getting the $750 or FEMA aid. And I'm seeing Daryl Issa made a post that we responded to and is on Reddit right now, and it's got over 100,000 views on our little meme we made, where Daryl Issa was saying, well, here in California, you don't have to show an ID to vote, but you have to show an ID to get FEMA aid. Well, first of all, in California, you don't have to show an ID to vote on Election Day. That is true. You have to show it to register. So I don't even want to get into that conundrum because that's a whole nother thing, and we've got some content posted online about that if you want to go join those arguments. But the point that FEMA does not just give out money to anyone. So I pulled some facts on this matter just so everyone knows. So, yes, you do need to provide identification to FEMA to receive aid. However, FEMA will usually simply verify your identity using public records. So if you are homeless and you don't happen to have your ID anymore or your birth certificate or whatever, most of us are in the system already. They're going to see if we've paid taxes or if we have a utility bill in our name. They can find our driver's license, our passport. So, yeah, FEMA needs to verify your identity, but they usually do it on their own. If they can't, they will then come to you and ask for additional documentation. But they don't just say no, okay?
Okay. I have questions about that. Do you know about that?
I know little about it, so go ahead and put me on the spot.
I want to know why, you know what? I understand that illegal immigrants should not be able to get certain benefits in our country. Mm-hmm. But in this time of crisis, that you've got a human sitting in front of you with literally nothing, starving, maybe sick, injured, like, you don't think it's okay to take care of that person and maybe then send them on their way?
Right. So let me elaborate on that a little more just from FEMA directly. Then I'll give you my own 2 cents.
Okay.
So let's see here. Question to FEMA. If I'm an undocumented immigrant, am I eligible for any assistance from FEMA? You may be eligible for crisis counseling or disaster legal services and other short-term non-cash emergency aid. You will not be eligible for disaster unemployment assistance. To qualify for FEMA assistance, you either have to be a U.S. citizen or one member of your household must either have a Social Security number and be a U.S. citizen or a non-citizen national or qualified non-citizen. So you're not getting the cash. You get some other assistance, but you also have to remember, like Red Cross, they don't care who you are. They'll let you come sleep in their tents or get food from their shelters or whatever it is. So there is some level of help being offered. And any other sort of nonprofit or church or whatever that's doing food banks or whatever, like, yes, anyone, they don't care who you are, they'll help for that. But for a federal program where we're handing out dollars, I'm sorry, you got to be a citizen or in the process of or live with someone who is a citizen. Like, it's a pretty wide open thing.
Yeah.
Even if you're in the process, like you got your green card, but you're not a citizen, you still qualify for it. So it's not completely discriminatory. But again, if you're an illegal citizen, you don't have any documentation. So how would we keep track of who we've given money to? You can't just hand it out to everyone, let them walk around the block and come back again, you know?
Sure. I understand not giving, I understand not giving them money. I think that's the right thing to do. Like you said, sorry. But as far as like aid of, I'm not going to let this person die in front of me. It's great that there are options for those people. I don't understand what the uproar is about, like, taking care of people who are illegals when it comes to something like this. Like, isn't that just called being a person? Like, I'm not going to check your legal status. Here's a sandwich.
Right. Didn't Jesus say something about that, helping the fellow man, as long as they're in your country legally?
Right, yeah. As long as they respect the borders. Okay?
Right. All of these Southern Christian Baptists and whatnot freaking out about this whole concept. And like we've just pointed out, most of it's not even true. It's just bullshit being stirred up by the right, try to make Kamala and Biden look bad, score political points off a disaster, and it's being fact-checked, it's being rebuffed. One more thing here. Okay, so conservatives are upset about not enough aid getting to hurricane victims. They're indignant. $750. Where's the rest of the money? Well, One last article I'll point on this topic. Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, Republican from the South, from Louisiana, says that he will not call Congress back into session early to fast-track emergency funding for hurricane victims, arguing that there's no rush. He says, quote, it takes a while to calculate the actual damages. We'll be back in session immediately after the election. President Joe... Yeah. Biden said that he has asked lawmakers to hasten the approval of about $1.6 billion in federal funding towards the Small Business Administration's disaster loan program. Biden says that they are going to run out of funding in weeks. And the head of FEMA said that we do not have enough money to get through hurricane season, which is still going on for another 2 months. So FEMA and the White House are both saying we're giving out the money, but we're going to need more. And here is the head of the Republican Party in the House saying, we'll get there when we get there. We're all running for re-election in our hometown, so we're just going to stay here and not fast-track that funding you're asking for.
We got vacations, dude. We're not in session. Right. That is crazy, dude.
Right. And by the way, as if someone like Mike Johnson or whoever in red states like Louisiana, Alabama, do you even need to campaign like the Democrats winning there? Get your ass back to D.C. for a day. Just go and vote to approve the shit, and then you can go back to wherever the hell you're from.
Unreal, dude. Unreal.
Right. So, as usual, the pearl clutching on the right is complete hypocrisy. Most of it's completely false. And the parts that aren't false, they're making worse. So, there you go.
Yeah. And it's hitting on every front that I look around and see. I shouldn't say every front, but you made a quick comment of just even people we know and respect are saying these things. Did you see my online comments on a friend of ours runs all these Trump videos on his TikTok page, says I'm a Democrat, but I just run these for content, right? He posted some bullshit, dude, about that. And I said, this is such dangerous misinformation.
Did you you commented?
Yeah.
Oh, no. See, I saw it and was just I'm just going to leave it alone. So good on you.
I couldn't help it, dude. I mean, I try and stay away from people that we know and stuff of having these arguments, but I was just dude, pull that down. If you have any inkling of what a good person is, pull that down. You know it's dangerous.
Right. It's funny. I just told you, I decided to refrain and not comment on it. Instead, I decided to go on our global podcast and call them out directly because I'll be posting this clip later and we know they'll see it. So.
Yes, 100%. Shame on you, dude. Right. You're still my friend, but shame on you.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
Hello, Americans. This is Paul Harvey. Stand by for news.
It's important to say, yeah, you're still my friend, dude, but come on, you can do better. I know that. Welcome to Need to Know News. News you need to know. It's the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve. Appreciate you listening to the podcast. This is a fantastic thing that I got into. Do you know who a woman named, what's her name? Tina Peters. You know who Tina Peters is?
I do. And it's funny because somebody on one of our many social media posts this week called us Tina Peters. And I thought it was a typo. I thought they were trying to say we had tiny Peters.
Why did they call us Tina Peters?
I don't know. I mean, there's so many arguments going on in the interweb for us right now. But yeah, someone called us Tina Peters, and I was like, Tiny Peters? Why would they say we have tiny Peters?
Yeah, that can't be true.
Right. And then I read the news article about Tina Peters. So yes, expand on who she is.
All right. Well, Tina Peters was found guilty of attempting to influence public servants and on one count of conspiracy to commit criminal impersonation. Former Mesa County, Colorado clerk Tina Peters sentenced to, I'm not going to tell you how long yet because I'm going to play audio, but a little while in prison. How about that? This was for leading a security breach of the county's election system after being inspired by false and baseless claims of voting fraud by none other than Donald J. Trump.
Yes. It's the classic, no one's actually violating these or penetrating these voting systems, but then these Trumpers go ahead and do it, either to prove a point or whatever. But yeah, so she got herself in some trouble. Because that's what would happen if you did that, especially if there was a internet or national conspiracy to, penetrate all these systems.
Yeah, well, and you know what? It's funny that she went into a room let one of Mike Lindell's associates, because, you know, Mike Lindell, my pillow guy, he's also a big election denier. One of his associates, she gave him access to the machines to get into the software, hacked right into it.
Yep.
Because, well, gosh, she wanted to do what was right. So I'm going to play a little bit of audio for you of Tina Peters. Let me tell you, if you haven't seen her, like, she's prim, proper, kind of lady of the South, you know, like she's very privileged old white lady, okay?
Absolutely. She's a freaking Karen. Did you happen to see the body cam video of her originally being arrested? Because that popped up on my repetitive body cam feeds this past week.
100%. I'm going to play audio from that body cam just because, like, it just shows her privilege, does it not?
Yes, it's a straight up Karen.
All right. So she's at a party and these cops walk in and she's just like having a cocktail hour or whatever. And cops walk in and they cuff her and take her out. I'm not going to play you the whole thing, but here's 40 seconds of what it sounded like as they were leading her out of this elitist party.
Give me my key to my car. Give me my key to my car. Give it to me. Give me my key.
Step outside for me.
Take my purse. Let go of me. You're hurting me. And I'm going to show all the bruises that you put on me.
If you're not going to cooperate, you'll be charged with obstructing.
Let go of me.
Understand that?
You let go of me now.
No, ma'am.
You're bruising me. Let go
Stop
of me.
pulling against us.
I'm not pulling against you. Let go of me.
Then stand up like an adult.
Shut up. What an asshole thing to say to me.
Let It Be is playing in the background. Like, they're at a party, but good on these cops, dude, because they were so patient and you couldn't have described her better. What a freaking Karen, dude.
Yes. So if anyone's new to the show, I watch a lot of police body cam videos of Karens getting arrested because I find them so humorous. And there are certain stereotypical things that happen repeatedly in these videos. And that woman just did about all of them. The whole, like, give me my keys and give me my purse. I want all my possessions and let go of me. You're hurting me. I'm going to sue you. And I'm not resisting. No, I'm not. You're pulling away right now. I'm not resisting. Like, stop pulling away and the cuffs will stop hurting. Like, I'm suing all of you. What a freaking Karen. So I love that they hauled her out and all of her societal elites threw the cuffs on her. They treated her like any perp getting arrested.
She was a common criminal, dude. And you know what? They let her out of there. Everyone watched, obviously, because she was, you know what? She could have walked out quietly and probably no one would have noticed, or not as many people. Right. But she made it worse for herself. So those cops take her out. They arrest her and take her down to the jail. She bonds out and she does an interview with some local news source. And this is what the news source asked Tina Peters.
What do you think the chances are that you and or Donald Trump are in prison a year or two from now?
Well, I'll tell you, if I thought I was going to prison, I would probably be on the beach somewhere, you know, relaxing. It's just like with Donald Trump's indictment. My indictment has nothing to do with the facts.
I think it was just like Trump's indictment. You're right.
It didn't age well for you, Tina Peters. I love the laugh. Like, I'm not going to jail, you silly boy.
The arrogance. That's the other thing I hear in these videos all the time. You're not arresting me. No, you're not. Like, yes, we are. And now you're in the system. So what did the system do with Tiny Peters?
Yeah. So she goes to jail, makes a plea to the judge. I'm just going to play a little audio of her saying, like, me? I didn't do anything wrong and I can't go to jail, Your Honor.
I've often said God doesn't like people messing with his kids. I believe I'm a child of God. It was important for someone to stand up, and I chose to do that. I have health problems that would not be treatable in the Department of Corrections. First of all, I need a magnetic mattress. I've been on that since 1995.
God, dude.
Karen. I can just hear God up there. Don't bring me into this. I've got nothing to do with this crap.
Yeah, a magnetic mattress, dude. She needs it. You guys can't even take care of me in prison. I'm so unhealthy.
That was like when the QAnon shaman, the guy with the bullhorns or whatever, he's got arrested, and his mom was going on the news. My son has a special diet. He needs dietary supplements while he's in prison.
Should have thought about that, dude, before you stormed the Capitol. Come on.
Yes. Before you broke into voting systems in Colorado, you idiot.
So, dude, I will tell you what, this judge, he went off on her, and I don't know if you watched any of his sentencing, but he gave, I want to say it was like a 9-minute statement to her before he sentenced her, and all of it was gold. I mean, all of it was just so fantastic that you were almost cheering him on because she's such a piece of shit, and never throughout this trial did she realize what she did wrong and have remorse. I mean, to this very day, she thinks she did nothing wrong.
There's a few judges out there that post videos on YouTube and TikTok and stuff. It's judges admonishing people that think they're above the law. And again, I find it so satisfying.
Oh, you're so right, dude. I mean, yeah, you feel good about it. You're like, finally, you see somebody get in trouble for the shit they did, because we see people go free so often, including the president of our country, dude.
Former president. We're not talking about Biden.
Oh yeah, that's right. I fall into that category, and I know a lot of other people do, and I don't know if it affects me or what. But he is not the president. I refuse to refer to him that way, and I just did.
I mean, technically, any former president still retains the title, but it's more correct to call him former President Trump. So,
No, for sure. All right. So, yeah, like I think this judge gave like a 9-minute statement. Like I said, it was all dynamite. This is a 2-minute audio clip, but you're going to hear this judge really just take this lady down, make him smell his brown. Okay.
The defense has, and Ms. Peters in particular, has remained quite defiant, which is her right, but certainly not helpful for her lot today. It's my impression distinctly that you never took your job of clerking particularly seriously. You didn't complete the certification. One scandal after another followed you in your time as the clerk. And ultimately, it was a belief that the echo chamber in which you live couldn't be wrong, among other things, that led you to do what you did here. This thought process, unfortunately, seems to consume so many in our country, regardless of race, gender, political affiliation, or the like, that what it is we hear and think can't possibly be wrong. There are many things in my mind that are crystal clear about this case. You are no hero, you abused your position, and you're a charlatan who used and is still using your prior position in office to peddle a snake oil that's been proven to be junk time and time again. Wow. In your world, it's all about you. But at bottom, this case was about your corrupt conduct and how no one is above the law. No one in this country has absolute power. Your position as a clerk and recorder, a constitutional position, does not provide you with a means by which to do your own investigation, to not listen to the judiciary, to not listen to the executives higher than you, to not listen to the legislature who sets the law.
I feel like he's talking to Trump, dude.
Yes,
this is nonsense. Our system of government can't function when people in government think that somehow, some way, the power they've been given is absolute in all respects. And that's where you fell. You have no respect for the checks and balances of government. Yeah. You have no respect for this court. You have no respect for law enforcement. And you do not have respect for your fellow colleagues when you were a clerk and recorder who weren't lockstep in your beliefs. And therefore, the sentence and judgment of the court is as follows. So it's 8.5 years total, plus the 6 months for a total of 9 years.
I just couldn't play all the charges. There were too freaking many of them, dude. It went on and on, but she was taken down for 9 years. You should have seen Tiny Peter's face, dude. I mean, whew.
Yeah, and what you said in there is pretty accurate. He is talking to Trump. He is talking to MAGA. I mean, he's being generous by saying there are certain people in this country that think their political opinions have to be true and can't possibly be wrong. Like, gee, I wonder who he's addressing that too. So, yeah, 9 years for that hoity-toity elitist Karen to go sit in prison.
I don't know if she just does the full 9 years. Sometimes 9 years means 5, with good time. But this could be a death sentence for her. I mean, she is old enough, and if she's really got all these, magnetic mattress health issues, like, they're not going to give her a magnetic mattress, dude, right?
What the crap is a magnetic mattress? Is that some snake oil crap that magnets make you feel better or something?
Yes, dude. Yes, 100%. And that just goes to show you she's a charlatan, just like Donald Trump. I mean, she's trying to swindle everybody with, all her wares. So she's not far off. So, yeah, hopefully he was talking to Trump. And I don't know. Jack Smith came out with something else that we got to talk about at some point. It's too much to get into now. Mm-hmm. But things are moving forward for Donald Trump in his case of his own case for all this election bullshit that he pulled. So hopefully it's going somewhere.
Yeah, the election interference, the fake electric scheme culminating in January 6th. And it almost seems with the Jack Smith thing that the Supreme Court announcement that Trump has immunity for official acts, or any president does, it almost seems to have backfired, because it forced Jack Smith to refile and tell us all more than we originally knew to try to make his case, which has been brilliant.
Completely, dude. I mean, we love Jack.
I love you, Jack.
You love Jack. Jack's doing his thing. And some people would have just laid down right there and said, you know what, the Supreme Court said this, like it's hopeless. But he pulls something even more magical out of his anus and brings it to all of us to enjoy.
And unfortunately, obviously, none of that's going to happen before the election, but it's going to catch up to him. And I am glad this judge in Colorado did not care about the political calendar. It was smart of him to announce this verdict before the election, so that if anyone else, Colorado or anywhere else, is thinking about doing this kind of crap, just look, this hoity-toity MAGA Karen just went to jail for 9 years. You really want to play this game?
Yeah, 100%. They say, oh, you got to make an example out of some people. Well, she got what she deserved, and it still made an example out of her, dude.
Yep. Yeah, good stuff. I can't wait to hear some of the tales of what her life is like in prison. I'm sure it'll be some lesbian fantasy. She'll have an amazing time there.
It'd be such a fantastic reality show to follow her in prison. I'd love it, dude.
Right. Yeah, good stuff.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know. Start the news chant, please. Come on. News.
Hi, Stephen. This is Clem Fandango. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
Can you hear me, Clem?
I can hear you. Yes, Steve.
Good. I'm glad we're not done with Clem Fandango. That's good. All right. This is Need to Know News, and a fan of the show, it's not always political, but right now we got really no choices. It's just political season. Things are crazy. Less than a month to go to election. And, crazy shenanigans keep on happening. So, Elon Musk has obviously gone off the deep end. I mean, did we see him at the rally a couple days ago, jumping around like some little fat boy trying to get cookies off the top shelf?
Why did he keep showing his belly, dude, as he was jumping around? It was so weird.
I mean, I don't know what it was. He was just high on the excitement of the moment or something, but it was beyond awkward and weird. And I did see somebody that shared a tweet of his from a couple of years ago saying that Twitter must remain politically neutral in order to be trustworthy. Like, boy, you abandoned that principle now, didn't you?
Yeah. Good old Elon Musk. You could see he was feeling power hungry on that stage. He showed so much excitement. He loves that MAGA's following him and thinks that he's some sort of god.
Yes. Well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Leon Musk's, his mother back in the news again, hit with a blunt community note from Twitter X after she encouraged straight up voter fraud.
Wow, dude. I didn't even hear about this.
Yes. Now, I will tell you, we've done some voter fraud stuff on the show recently, and it's out on our social media pages right now, and it's just going crazy with people that are logical, explaining that it's not possible for illegals to vote, and all this voter fraud stuff is garbage. But the amount of people out there that straight up believe this stuff is truly surprising, and I don't get the impression they're just saying it to argue. Like, they really seem to believe it.
Dude, I don't know if I've shared with you, dude, but this past week after that debate with J.D. Vance and Tim Walz, I had a conversation with someone I love a whole bunch, dude, and that I think respect and think is a smart person. I said, I really think Tim Walz really kind of pulled that debate off at the end when J.D. Vance wouldn't say, oh, yeah, Biden won the election. Right. He was like, well, he couldn't say that. I said, what? What do you mean? Yeah, you could. He was like, no, he doesn't believe it, dude. And neither do I. I was like, what? What? Yeah. I went from 0 to 100 because there's no room for that whatsoever in my book. Like, this has been proven over and over again. But there are a ton of people out there, like you said, that genuinely believe this.
Yeah. There have been prosecuted cases of voter fraud in modern times. And do you know who commits the majority of the documented prosecuted voter fraud cases in our country?
It's Republicans.
Bingo. Yes. It's the old projection. They're accusing others of doing what they're doing. So the whole voting for dead relatives or trying to vote multiple times, all this crap, the people that have been busted doing it are Republicans. So, not that I expect them not to be hypocrites, but so Leon Musk's mom, May Musk, mother billionaire ex-owner Leon Musk, was fact-checked on her son's own social media platform after she encouraged Americans to vote fraudulently. Quote, the Democrats have given us another option. You don't have to register to vote. On Election Day, have 10 fake names. Go to 10 polling booths and vote 10 times. That's 100 votes, and it's not illegal. Maybe we should work the system too. She wrote just a couple of days ago on X.
Dude, Leon Musk, let me tell you, has obviously brainwashed this woman, but something else to think about is that, yeah, she's living off of her son and all his money. Like, is he forcing her to say this shit, or does she actually believe it too?
I don't know why mom would feel the need to get out there and lie. She's just, either wants to be part of the fun or, yeah, she believes this. And she knows, I mean, this woman's got a few million followers just because she's Leon's mom. So she has a platform too and is trying to abuse it. Federal code, by the way, prohibiting more than once and falsifying information when voting, punishable by a fine of up to $10,000 and imprisonment of up to 5 years for voting multiple times, like she's suggesting. And by the way, Donald Trump once also encouraged people to vote multiple times in an act that would constitute the type of voter fraud that he is constantly harping on about.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Well, like you said, it's projection, dude, and I just cannot believe that anyone wouldn't look at this and say, like, oh my gosh, that's irresponsible. What am I doing on this platform? That platform has picked up a little bit of steam as of late from what I'm hearing. Like, with the election just shy of 30 days away, recording day here, that people are heading over there to sign up for the platform again. And so who knows? I'm a little worried, Steve.
About what?
Just, I don't know, dude. I think that this blue wave is fantastic, and I think that it's strong, but all these idiots that are popping up, are they a vocal minority, or is this the real deal? I have no idea. It's scaring me.
Listen, they're definitely getting loud, as we predicted would happen the closer we get to Election Day. But there's no new MAGA people out there. They're loud, absolutely. But there's no new ones coming into the system. He is topped out at about 40% of the country that's going to vote for him, and give or take, that's it. But yeah, I mean, the shenanigans are up to, the attempts for voter fraud, the attempts that they're laying the groundwork already to have state officials not certify the results, to put this to the Supreme Court, which Trump packed. They're hoping to win it, quote unquote, that way. So yeah, there's a good cause to be scared for sure from some of this. But I truly believe that on actual election day and the days to follow, like, the votes are going to come out in our favor. And then I just hope the guardrails hold for some of this other crap.
I hope so too, dude. I know a lot of people are feeling this whole thing that we're describing as far as being scared. I think it's a good thing to make sure that we get out and vote and do what we need to do. But a lot of people are feeling scared and just, I want it to be done and over with. Mm-hmm. I've always wondered this, and maybe as someone who is intelligent like you are, you could explain this to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Why is it not illegal to lie in an election? Why is it not illegal? I mean, when I say like, oh, you're under oath in the courtroom, like we have checks and balances for certain things. Why is it not illegal to knowingly lie in an election?
Yeah. I mean, I guess the short answer is the First Amendment. Freedom of speech includes the freedom to lie in certain settings, obviously not under oath. You can't lie on, documentation and things like that. But I mean, I guess the cynic in me would say that every politician would be in jail if lying was illegal. And, there's a difference, I suppose, between exaggerating a number, fudging facts versus just flat out freaking lies like Trump is telling. Every politician fudges things or rounds up in their favor, that kind of thing. So
sure.
It would be a slippery slope would be the problem if you start arresting politicians for lying. But, I understand the principle of what you're saying for sure. Like, how can we let people like Trump and his cronies just lie? And somehow the media addresses it and then just kind of moves on.
Well, because there's 40%, like you said, of this country that doesn't believe the media. And I don't believe everything the media says, but I think it's pretty easy to distinguish what's true from the media. And, people look at the fact checks of things and be like, oh, that's a biased fact check. That's a bullshit fact check. It's called fact check, dude. We're checking a fact.
Yes.
So, but they just don't believe it. There's no trust.
That's the problem, because I don't know if it would help to arrest politicians for lying, because people would just say, oh, he's telling the truth, and they're prosecuting him for that. And, one of our voter fraud videos on social media this past week that got all sorts of comments and views was us literally reading a fact check of whether or not illegal immigrants can vote. And still, people are like, they don't believe it. And I would point out, well, we're reading a fact check article. Oh, from who? From the mainstream media? They're all lying to us. So fact checking has somehow become, you have to fact check the fact checks and still no one will believe you.
Yeah, no, there's a sickness going on in our country right now, dude.
Right. And maybe this should make us feel better. And maybe I should be pointing this out to more people out there. But TikTok is so sensitive about political misinformation. A couple of months ago, we posted a joke that was obviously a joke where I said, hey, MAGA, we've moved the election to Wednesday, November 6th, which was a joke. And it even said at the end of the video, Tuesday, November 5th is election day. TikTok pulled it down as election misinformation. It doesn't matter that it was satire or obviously a joke. They said we have zero tolerance for election misinformation.
And it didn't even sit up there for 2 minutes, dude. I mean, they did it quick.
They did it quick. And on one level, I get it. Like, if you're dumb and you couldn't pick up on the joke, I guess I was lying to people. So, okay. But when we posted that same voter fraud video on TikTok this past couple of days here, TikTok pulled it down. It flagged it as fraudulent election misinformation. Wouldn't let us post it. And we filed an appeal with TikTok, and I wrote a little thing saying, like, no, this information is 100% accurate, coming from a fact-check source. We are debunking the myth that illegal immigrants are voting. It took 3 days, but TikTok agreed with us. They went over the content in our video, and they issued us an apology and reposted that information as factually accurate.
And which, thank God they did, dude. I think about this with TikTok right now because there's a lot of these, they're just memes on TikTok of like Trump's head on a body and, in a body of water, like saving kids from the hurricane and shit like that.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking on the phone the other day and I was like, I've been just reporting them all. And I've been reporting them as misinformation deepfakes, okay? Because they're obviously AI generated. I haven't been able to get one of them pulled. They say, you're denied. And I hate it on the side of when you report something, you don't get to write anything and explain. Is it a bot that's just checking these? I don't know, but they're not taking any of these stupid pictures down.
I will tell you that from what I can tell, the first round of that is absolutely have to be a bot. Because I think the reason our video got pulled down is it contained the verbiage. It said, are illegal immigrants voting? And I think it just picks up on illegal immigrants voting. Like it's election fraud, just pull it down. It's just a bot. It happened too quickly.
Yeah.
But when a human reviewed it, and obviously a human did because it took several days and they, realized it was true, then you have a chance. But I guess it gets back to that freedom of speech. Is it my freedom of speech to post a fake image of Trump saving children from a flood? Could I claim it's satire or free speech or something? I don't know. Obviously the intent is misinformation, though.
You're right. I mean, you totally could say all those things, but yeah, I mean, our concern for wanting them pulled is that there's people dumb enough out there. I was looking at the comments and they were like, God bless our president. Like, wow, look at him out, getting his boots dirty.
Absolutely. And yes, those comments are disturbing, but so many of them, yes, they actually think Trump was out there wading through waters, rescuing children, and yet the mainstream media won't cover that.
It's crazy shit, dude.
And just real quick, to circle back to this Mama Musk article, she made these comments about, encouraging voter fraud by voting 100 times. She made it on one of Leon's little posts about encouraging people to register to vote. Here's a fun fact that I think is somewhat humorous, because I'm seeing a lot of this right now of especially conservatives trying to get people to register to vote because they see the writing on the wall. Fun fact, in almost every state in America, it's too late now. Most of the states, and I looked this up this morning, the majority of states, I will state. Is that redundant? State? Anyways.
Oh, it's fine.
The majority of states in our country, once you're about 28 to 30 days out from the election, you can no longer register to vote. And so we have passed that threshold. In the interest of fairness, I want to point out a couple of swing states, though, where that is not true. Michigan, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Those states, look up the specifics if you're in one, but those states you can either register the week of or even 24 hours or the day of in some of those states. So those 4 swing states, you still have a chance. The other swing states I looked up, no, you're not. You're 30 or 28 days out. It's already cut off. And the majority of the states in general have a 30-day cutoff to register to vote.
Oh, you remember Rock the Vote, dude? This is all about registering early. If you didn't do that, shame on you. I mean, people have been talking about it for a long time. But if you're in one of those swing states, you could still take care of it. It's very odd that it's just those swing states, but whatever. But yeah, hopefully everyone's registered. And I would also, I mean, you may be out of time now. I don't know, but check your registration. I told you 1 year, Rachel got a letter like 6 months after the election was like, we didn't count your vote. Your signature didn't match.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, go check your registration, dude. Make sure the signature you had when you were 18 is still the same as when you're 47.
Yeah, right, because mine's changed a lot over the years.
Yeah.
And I do want to point out again, in the interest of not spreading misinformation, there are some states that you can still register to vote like 15 days out. Like California, I think, is a good example. California, I believe it's 15 days out from the election. You can still register. But California is not a swing state. It's a deeply blue state. So as far as federal elections, doesn't matter. There's also some red states where you can register closer to the election. But again, they're very red. So if we're talking about affecting the election, getting undecided voters out or whatever, most of the states, your window has officially closed. So snooze, you lose.
Welcome to Need to Know News. News you need to know.
Need to know news.
Right.
Said, oh Lord Jesus, it's a fire. News you need to know. I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Nobody has time for bronchitis.
I don't know. I could use a couple sick days. I could take a little bronchitis. So.
You don't want bronchitis, dude. You don't want that shit.
About half the people in our comments section would love it if one of us got bronchitis and could no longer talk.
That's true. Hey, did you see Donald Trump returned as a brave hero, somebody who went back to the place they were once wounded, almost like a veteran, going back to Normandy. This really takes a lot of guts for somebody to go back and sit on the same stage where he took a bullet for democracy. I say in jest.
Where he got grazed by something for democracy. And yes, went back to the site where the Secret Service explicitly told him, stop doing outdoor rallies. They're too hard to protect. But he wants to relive the nostalgia of being grazed by something. So yes, he went back to Pennsylvania.
Take a little flashback to a time that Donald Trump, at his Republican debate, his one and only for this election cycle, said, I'll never go back there again. I'll never talk about it again. This is my one time I'm going to talk about this because it's too painful. Right. I saw that he's already, this guy counted how many times that he's brought it up at different functions, and it's over 50 that he counted already, dude.
And yeah, you're right. At the RNC speech, he said, like, I'm going to talk about it once and then I'm done with this.
Right, yes.
But then he saw we all stopped caring. The news cycle moved on. This whole ear thing, that's another thing, man. I made a comment on someone else's Reddit post about this ear thing. Just like, boy, that ear healed quickly. I have like 1,000 likes on that comment. Like everyone's jumping on of like, yeah, how did that ear heal so quickly? And you know, if he got shot, he'd be showing us pictures of that ear left and right.
Come on.
Or whatever, you know.
That fake doctor, that Ronnie Jackson, I think was his name. He said, the doc said, I could have not made it out of this. I saw him saying that in front of people. Like Ronnie Jackson said, you almost didn't make it. Like, that's such bullshit, dude. I bled as much as he did when I pierced my ear in 7th grade.
Of course, head wounds bleed a lot. And the doctor's own pseudo report even said it didn't need stitches. And every ballistics expert I have seen has shown that you cannot cause a cut with a high-velocity bullet from that distance. It would burn. It would blow even a fractional hole in someone's ear.
Yes, and this is also Donald Trump said about Ronnie Jackson. He was a doctor for Obama and Biden. He says, physically, I'm in far greater shape than those two combined. Like, you think you're in better shape than Obama, dude? What is wrong with you?
Come on, please. I think Ronnie Jackson should go back to the Jackson 5. That's where he started, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's where he came from. He seems a little bit out of it. But Trump went back to what the hell is it called? Butler. What's it called?
Yeah, I think
Butler.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Butler is what it is. Rachel and I tried to watch some of it live, and it was just, we were getting so angry and it was so embarrassed throughout this. So I've just pulled a little bit of audio so you don't have to sit through it all and can gain the highlights. As you know, when Trump did get his ear grazed with a bullet in Butler, Pennsylvania, somebody else died. Corey was his name. He was a firefighter. And Trump had a lot of great things to say about Corey this rally, and one of them was this, and Rachel and I saw this live and just looked at each other with our mouths agape and shook our heads, dude.
And of course, there's one more hero who could not make it because he is no longer with us. You know who that is, right? Corey, our beautiful Corey. Corey is not with us tonight, and he should be. We all miss him. He's become somewhat of a folk hero, I have to tell you. Who is with us is his beautiful wife and daughters. Where are they sitting? There they are. There's a lot of people.
A lot of people. There's this beautiful wife that I'm going to bang after this rally. Like, why are you looking around? And Corey, our beautiful Corey.
Because he's a vanity-loving narcissist. And everyone who's good has to be somehow attractive.
Yeah.
And don't get me started on my rant again about what a hero is, but can we not all agree that somebody that shows up to a public event and gets shot, how the hell are they a hero? I know they're a victim, and they may be sympathetic, but he's a hero? He's a hero for being shot in public.
It's a tragedy is what it is. I mean, he's not a hero. It's tragic is what you would call that.
Sure.
Trump went on to talk a little bit about Corey, and this really just, we were on the floor, dude.
Corey had the best seat in the house, and he was telling his wife and family on the way over in the car, he said, I'm telling you, he's going to invite me up in the stage, because I do that sometimes. I take people, and she smiled, thinking it'll never happen, and little did anyone realize that Corey would be on the stage 3 months later in an almost immortal position. And that's where he is today. He's on the stage.
He's on the stage? Like, I understand you're talking about his spirit.
Is he? But are his ashes on the stage?
Like, maybe his ashes are there. He's saying, like, Corey will live forever on this stage. Live in infamy.
That's the first thing I believe, that guy would be haunting Trump, because that would make a lot of sense. I sure as hell would.
Yes, dude. Yes, that is 100% true. But I don't know if you caught the first 3 seconds of that.
Corey had the best seat in the house, and he was
Corey did not have the best seat in the house, dude. He got shot in the freaking head, dude.
Right.
Like, I mean, you're so insensitive. Like, I understand you didn't know that that's what you were saying, but like, take a little time, dude. Don't riff and weave your bullshit through these stories of tragedy.
Yeah. And I believe, again, he brought up this divine intervention thing. I know he has in other rallies that, God saved Trump's life that day, but apparently God didn't give a crap about beautiful Corey over there.
Yeah, Corey, the firefighter, I mean, he saved you. You think so?
Right.
Yeah, so they took a little moment of silence for Corey, which was not a moment of silence at all.
Corey's wife said, I'd rather have my husband. Isn't that good? I know a lot of wives that would not say that. I'm sorry.
It's a comedy
They would not
routine.
say that. But no, it's a great family. He was a great man. He was a brave man.
He was a brave man.
Projecting again, because he knows his wife wouldn't say that.
100%, dude. I mean, is that not crazy to be like, I know a lot of wives who wouldn't say that, and people are giggling like,
right. That's the second time he's made that joke, quote unquote. He made that a month or so back and got ripped for it, and still he repeated it back at this event in front of his widow, Corey's widow. Like, yeah, a lot of wives would just want the money. I mean, were we right, gentlemen, or what? Like, hey,
God, so bad, dude. But so they did the moment of silence, which he's like, I want to do a moment of silence, and then there's 3 or 4, I guess there were 4 people that were shot. So they played 4 church bells. Okay, bang, bang, and then opera singer came on and sang Ave Maria. And people in the crowd were singing along, dude. This was the weirdest freaking memorial I have ever seen in my life.
Bing, bong, boom. Let's do some Ave Maria.
And then when it was all over, the YMCA started playing, and Trump started doing the YMCA, his little weird dance up there, dude. That
was a tribute to the firefighter, obviously. He was one of the Village People, right? So
I'm going to end this story, dude, by telling you that old veteran decided that, you know what, I have a Purple Heart, and I think I should award it to Trump because he took a bullet when he was shot. Yeah. So this 92-year-old veteran takes a stage in the ceremonial gifting of his Purple Heart to Trump, and Trump is taking it. This draft-dodging son of a bitch is taking it like he's an actual hero.
No, surely he rejected that and said, I appreciate the notion, sir, but obviously you're the real hero and should keep the Purple Heart. That has to be what he said. Come on.
Let me check that. Did he give it right? No, I don't think so, dude. He didn't do it. He took it. He took it. And I wouldn't be surprised. I didn't see the whole thing because I was so sickened by it. I wouldn't be surprised if he pinned it on his lapel, dude. I mean, he took it from this 92-year-old veteran.
Yeah. No, I did see enough of the clips. So yes, he did take it. I don't know if he pinned it on himself, but yeah, I mean, he accepted it. What kind of scumbag would do that?
I have no idea. Like you said, the proper thing to do would be like that. The thought is unbelievable. But like, you're the real hero, dude. I'm not going to take your Purple Heart.
This was the commander-in-chief at one time, taking somebody else's Purple Heart because his vanity, his narcissism was like, hell yes, I deserve a Purple Heart. And now I get to tell everyone, I have a Purple Heart. I didn't. Did I draft dodge? Who knows? But I have a Purple Heart. I have a Purple Heart. I have orange skin and a Purple Heart.
I got a Purple Heart with bone spurs. So true. So true.
Makes me want to vomit.
Yeah.
Speaking of wanting to vomit, can I throw one quick last story and then we got to wrap this up?
Yeah, please do, dude.
I don't need my intro, but dangerously stupid is what people are calling Marjorie Taylor Greene, more so than usual. She posted on Twitter the other day a picture of raw milk with the caption, "Raw milk does a body good. Make America healthy again." Marjorie Taylor Greene encouraging MAGA to drink raw milk. Do you know why that's a terrible idea?
The fuck is raw milk? You mean unpasteurized?
Yes, that's exactly what it means.
Well, go get your disease, dude. Go ahead.
According to the CDC's raw milk page, because apparently enough people are dumb enough to think about this, consuming raw milk can lead to serious health risks, especially for certain vulnerable populations. Drinking or eating products made from raw milk can expose people to germs, such as I don't know, a bunch of listeria, Bucaria, salmonella, a bunch of other things I can't pronounce, causing diarrhea, stomach cramping, vomiting, and in more severe outcomes, death.
Jeez, dude.
So raw milk can at a minimum make you very sick, or it can kill you. So I don't know, MAGA, if you just want to follow what Marjorie's advising you to do, I guess we can all do a little additional science experiment with Darwinism.
See what it does, dude. I mean, you guys have already taken down the horse pills. Let's just keep it going, dude, with raw milk.
Right. They're thinning the herd all on their own. This is they're proving what evolution really is. So, yeah, listen, I'm not encouraging you all to kill yourselves, but Marjorie told you, old hobbit feed herself, drink some raw milk. It'll make America healthy again. So let us know how that turns out for you. Or should I say, let your, the
caretaker
left behind, your dependents, let them tell us how that turned out for you.
This is also the bitch who told us this week that the government can control the weather, dude. They could have made that hurricane go away if they wanted to.
I'll give her credit, though. She used to say the Jewish people had a space laser that could control the weather. So at least she's taking the anti-Semitism out of it and just said the government can control the weather. Yes, they can.
Our little Marjorie's growing up, getting more mature.
It's hilarious. So go ahead. Thin the herd. Feel free.
Do it to it. All right. Well, we hate Trump.
You do not represent our movement. You do not represent our country.
That is correct. Well, we do represent the country. So the blue wave, keep it rolling. Get out there, get ready to vote, and do your part. And thanks for listening to the podcast, dude.
Yeah, keep the enthusiasm going. Even everyone who's registered to vote is not guaranteed to show up to vote, which is ridiculous. But spread the word. Spread it on social media. Let everyone know that this is the time to show up. So follow us on our social medias. It's an easy thing for you to do. You can share our stuff, and then you can kind of be a little removed and say, hey, these two intelligent middle-aged white dudes want you to hear this. So find us on TikTok, YouTube, Reddit, and all the other ones too.
And call our comment line. It's 844-48-VOCAL, the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve. We'll see you next time.
Hi, everybody. It's Elon Musk. You're listening to the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve. These guys are great. I'm not used to saying something is great with minority in the title. Felt weird, but I'm going with it for these boys. Nick and Steve, two new podcasts a week.